Good morning, kids. So in the last chapter we learnt about the animals and their young ones. Now we are moving on to a new chapter, which is this adaptations in animals. Now we already have learnt about adaptation in plants, isn't it? So in adaptation in plants, what do we learn about? How the plants are adjusting to the environment, isn't it? So how the plants are living in different conditions, in different habitats, isn't it? That is what we learned. Now in this chapter we are going to learn about the animals, same way, how they are adapting, how they are changing according to their habitat. Habitat is the place where they live, isn't it? The area or the conditions in which the animal live is that habitat. Okay, वो उनका habitat होता है. For example, camels they can live very well in the desert, you know that, isn't it? तो camel का habitat है desert. Okay, so in this way, how the different animals living in the different habitats are adjusting, are showing some unique features, are showing some changes in them. That is what we are going to learn about in this chapter. Okay, beta? So when I talk about the habitats, I talk about the different environments which we see on the earth. Okay, so according to the different habitats, the different environment which is there in earth, on the earth, the animals are named after that habitat. Okay, for example, the animals which live in water, they are called as aquatic animals, isn't it? So in this way, there are animals which are given names according to their habitats, and these habitats or these animals are terrestrial animals, aquatic animals, amphibians, aerial and arboreal. Okay, so these are the 5 different types of animals that we see on earth. Okay, beta. So now let's learn how these animals are adapted, how these animals have changed themselves to live very nicely, survive in that habitat. Okay, आराम से रहने के लिए, अच्छे से रहने के लिए उन्होंने क्या changes किए हैं अपनी body में, okay, अपने behavior में. That is what we are going to learn, and that is called adaptation. Okay, beta. Let's start with the first one, that is terrestrial. So terrestrial animals are all the animals that live on land. Okay, land पे ज़मीन पर रहने वाले लोगों animals को terrestrial animals बोलते हैं. Okay, we are also animals, so we are also living on the land, and hence we are also terrestrial animals. Okay, beta. So terrestrial means the animals which live on land. Okay, लैंड वाले एनिमल्स जो है, जो ज़मीन पर रहते हैं, those are called as terrestrial animals. Now animals that live on land are called terrestrial animals. The climatic conditions on land vary from place to place, but on the land also, isn't it? The conditions are not same. सारी लैंड जो है अर्थ पे is not having the same conditions, climatic conditions. Somewhere it rains heavily, somewhere it is very very dry, somewhere it is snowing, है ना? Somewhere it snows heavily, somewhere it does not snow, it is very hot, isn't it? So the land is also different, isn't it? And so the animals living in that environment have to change accordingly. उसके हिसाब से उनको change होना पड़ता है बेटा. So the polar regions are extremely cold. When we talk about the icy lands, those are the polar regions. Okay, the North Pole and the South Pole. Okay, so the North Pole and the South Pole of the Earth are very very cold. These are called polar regions where there is snow throughout the year. Okay, बहुत बर्फ होती है. So in such regions, animals like the polar bears, they can live easily. Why? Because they are having some adaptations. They have changed their body for that habitat, for that environment. How? See, polar bears, then Arctic fox and the penguins, seals and walruses. These are all the animals which you will see in the polar regions. Okay, बर्फ वाली जगह पर ये सारे animals रहते हैं and they are very good in protecting themselves from the cold. Since these are very icy regions, cold regions, बहुत snow है, तो their body is such कि they can easily remain there. Why? Because their body has that control over the cold. Okay, their body is having a thick fur. उनके बहुत सारे बाल होते हैं. Fur is the hair on their body. Okay, so this hair on the body is covering up their whole body and it is very very thick. So इसकी वजह से क्या हो जाता है that the cold does not affect the body. The heat of the body is kept inside the body. It does not what you can say go out. Okay, it remains inside. The animal remains warm inside. Okay, see, if you go in the icy regions, what will start happening is your blood, which is all water, isn't it, your bodily fluids, they will start freezing, जमने लग जाएंगे. But these animals, they are having a very thick fur on their body, जो ये अंदर के bodily fluids को जमने नहीं देते हैं. Okay, they do not freeze the liquids inside the body and so they can remain living there, survive there easily. Okay, so the animals like polar bears, Arctic foxes, the seals, walruses and penguins are very very well adapted to live in the icy regions, the polar regions. Okay, now when I say polar bear, it is having a thick coat of fur, isn't it? उसके बहुत बाल होते हैं, thick fur. What about penguin? Penguin के पास तो नहीं होते हैं thick fur, isn't it? So what penguin is having is, penguin is having a thick layer of fat inside. Skin के नीचे एक layer होता है fat का. Okay, fat is your ghee, तेल, है ना? Those are fatty things. Those are fatty substances. तो ऐसे एक लेयर होता है फैट का which is called as blubber. Okay बेटा? So these penguins are having walruses, seals, they all don't have hair. They have this thick layer of fat inside in their skin which is called as blubber, and this keeps the heat intact inside the body. Okay, because of this layer of fat, animal remains warm, गर्म रहते हैं, उनका blood liquid रहता है. Okay, so animals like polar bear and walrus also have a thick layer of fat under the skin called blubber. Okay, ये एक extra protection polar bear में इसमें भी है. Okay, even the polar bear has a thick layer of blubber. Okay, due to the scarcity of food during the cold periods, animals like bear, frog and snake prefer to sleep throughout the winter and remain inactive. This is called as hibernation. Now what happens बेटा, जब वहाँ पे winter season start होता है तो सन डज नॉट कम अप, बहुत ज़्यादा ठंड हो जाती है, स्नोफॉल होता है. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज द एनिमल दे रिमेन स्लीपिंग. ओके, द फॉर दैट पीरियड ऑफ विंटर एनिमल रिमेन स्लीपिंग, वो उठता ही नहीं है. गेटिंग मी? सो दिस चेंज है ना, हम कैसे रोज़ उठते हैं, we don't go to sleep for 3-4 months. So this change in the animals here in the polar regions, what they do is they store fat in, जब खाना खाते हैं ना बेटा, तब बहुत सारा खाना खाते हैं और स्टोर कर देते हैं एनर्जी. ओके, और फिर जब विंटर शुरू होगी, व्हेन द विंटर स्टार्ट, दे जस्ट स्लीप फॉर 3-4 मंथ्स और वट एवर टाइम पीरियड इज देयर विंटर सीजन, उतना टाइम वो सोते ही रहते हैं। तो what happens is body does not need much energy, बॉडी को ज़्यादा एनर्जी नहीं चाहिए, तो जितना भी स्टोर हुआ है एनर्जी, the body uses that energy and continues remaining surviving. Okay, it continues to survive, it continues to remain alive, जिंदा रहते हैं, थोड़ा थोड़ा एनर्जी, बस जो breathing and whatever functions, okay, which are important, only those functions will be carried on and they will take up only little energy. तो इस तरह से the polar bear, the animals living in that polar region, they go to sleep and they wake up after the winter is over. तो क्या हो जाएगा, when they are remaining inside their whatever they have seen, the polar bears, and they make holes in that snow, है ना, और केव्स में ऐसे रहते, तो वो अपनी जगह पे अपने घर में छुप कर चुपचाप सो जाते हैं फॉर फ्यू मंथ्स। ओके, जब विंटर खत्म होगा तब वो बाहर आएंगे, तो क्या हो जाता है, दे डू नॉट हैव टू फेस द हार्श आइसी कंडीशंस आउटसाइड, बहुत ज़्यादा ठंड उनको सहन करनी नहीं पड़ती है। सो दिस इज़ वन टाइप ऑफ एडेप्टेशन दे हैव डन, कि विंटर में जब बहुत ज़्यादा बर्फ़ होगी तब सो जाएंगे, जब फिर से विंटर खत्म हो जाता है, दे कम आउट ऑफ देयर हाइडिंग प्लेसेस एंड गो इन सर्च ऑफ फूड। ओके, सो इन दिस वे द एनिमल्स लिविंग इन द पोलर रीजन आर वेल अडेप्टेड फॉर इट, बहुत ही ज़्यादा उन्होंने एडजस्ट कर लिया है, चेंज कर लिया है खुद को। ओके, so this long sleep is known as hibernation. So these animals which go to sleep for months at a time, this process is known as hibernation. Okay beta?